Some cars require no introduction, but some do require a brief re-hello, especially when they sport some very major significant changes. And one such model is this one right here, the 2024 Hyundai Creta. The Creta has now been launched again in the Indian car market, complete with a host of changes, and you can check out the price list down below. In this episode though, we're telling you all these changes that Hyundai have brought into the model, which should help it to build on its 9.5 lakh sales numbers from both the first generation and the second generation, with a lot of promise from the facelift version as well. What does the 2024 Hyundai Creta bring to the table? Stick around to find out. Now, 9.5 lakh Creta owners in India since 2015, and in the interest of full disclosure, I myself am one of them. So instantly what takes me to the Creta and things I notice is the design change on the outside. The face has been given quite a lot of change. The grille has been redone. The DRLs on the side have been reworked. They're fresh, they're new. The headline designs have been tweaked just a little bit. And at the bottom, the bumper too has been reworked very slightly, but definitely very noticeably. Now move your eyes a little up, and the character lines on the bonnet are a bit more pronounced than they were on the second gen edition that this Creta replaces. Now nothing has changed in terms of exterior dimensions or proportions on the new Creta, but what has changed on the side profile is the minor change to the alloy design on the side and underneath all the dust here. And I apologize for the dust because we've been driving this car around for several hours here in Jodhpur, but underneath the dust, this is the new Ranger khaki color, which is essentially a shade of green. Now over at the rear, well, a lot of changes here as well, as is pretty much evident. The light that stretches between the two tail lights, the stretched LED light bar, has been added to the Creta. Now in the Hyundai family, the Verna gets it, the Venue gets it, so well, essentially why not the Creta too? The tail lights on either side of this stretched LED bar have been redone as well. The bumper at the bottom of the back of the Creta has been updated as well. Now clearly there are a whole lot of changes on the outside of the Creta, but does that mean they are only limited to the outside, or does the cabin of the latest Creta also have a lot of new elements? Come, let's find out. Now when you step inside the Creta, and especially if you've been an owner or you still own a Creta from the previous years, it's a walk down memory lane because of the number of changes that Hyundai has brought in with every generation or every facelift. Now the 2024 edition of the car gets a lot of changes on the inside. Let's just start with the infotainment screen here and the driver display. Now nothing has changed in terms of dimensions, so the screens are still quite large, quite intuitive to touch, and the display is high resolution as you would expect from the Korean brand, but it now is encased in one large housing, which makes it a lot more premium than what was on offer in the previous generation of the model. There is some contrasting color on the dashboard itself, and the dashboard as a whole has been redone too, so the air con vents that you see all around the front dash is completely redone, with more storage spaces for knickknacks just underneath the air vents here. And you have wireless phone charging, unexpected lines, multiple charging points. You have a 12-volt system, a Type-C charger, a conventional USB port, and just above it, the button layout for the controls of the air conditioning has been redone as well. Everything is nicely large, vivid, the font size is good, and even if you are on the driver's seat, everything is well within reach, so you can control the air conditioning quite easily without having to look away from the road ahead for too long. Of course, the steering wheel is also the same size, but just seems slightly more premium than before. You get the usual displays for the controls. Of course, this car now comes also with ADAS, so we will speak about that in our review of this vehicle, but you get the ADAS controls on the steering wheel, and you get those notifications on the driver display as well. Speaking about the driver display, This driver display now on the Creta is much similar. In fact, it is identical to what you have on the Alcazar. So it's new for the Creta, but it's actually not really new in the Hyundai family of vehicles. The feature list is of course something that Hyundai takes big pride in. So you get a whole lot of it. You get a large sunroof at the top, you get ventilated seats, you get Bose sound system, you get cup holders in the armrest for passengers at the back, and so on and so forth. So changes, of course, are a lot inside the cabin of the Hyundai Creta. But what's happening under the hood of this vehicle? There are 3 engine options on the latest edition of the Creta. You get this SUV with the 1.5 litre MPI petrol and the 1.5 CRDI diesel, which have been carried forward. What's new though is the introduction of the 1.5 litre turbo petrol motor, which is new for the Creta. Now the turbo petrol engine has been mated to the 7-speed DCT gearbox, while the other 2 engine options come with choices ranging from IMT to manual and automatic, depending on which engine you eventually choose. So there you go. These were some of the key stellar highlights of the 2024 edition of the Hyundai Creta, an SUV that is once again trying to make some very big promises, but does it have the potential to retain its crown and its throne? For more on that, do not forget to check out our in-depth drive review dropping on HT Auto and our social media handles soon. So stay tuned for that, and thank you so much for watching this episode.